Howdy, howdy, Frosty510 here. Welcome to the Path of Exile 2 Endgame Solutions Only Challenge. Alright, only solutions. I'm going to try to avoid any. Um, Although, there's varied debate about what is a problem, I think I'm just going to be pretty broad with solutions and let's get started. Number one, you could scrap towers. Number two, you could scrap the entire Atlas map system that they've created. Honestly, you could turf the whole thing. Get rid of the infinite spawning map that adds thing. Get rid of the towers with the circles. Get rid of that entire... Scrap the entire thing. Could be thrown in the bin, honestly. And you could return to the PW1 mapping, or you could do a different style of mapping. One of the problems I have from a visual point of view is that you have, things you've cleared. So you have a whole bunch of the green dots of stuff you've done. So you got a whole bunch of things visually that are dead, that are irrelevant. Once you've done them, they're done. And then I've got unjuiced maps, and then I've got, look at how many towers I've got in this one section. And you still have unjuiced. Okay. John, three problems. I think from a processing point of view, it's a waste to have either. I think would be better. Okay, you have refresh. So you have an item in the game, a currency can be, that turns a finished map, a green node, back into a blue node. Or yellow. But I think refreshing the map, or having a currency where you can do it again with the modifiers. So this is probably the other point. You could do it again without the modifiers because you like the layout, or you could do it again with your juice from oil, lube, all that. So you could do it again with all of your lube on the map. So I know that they may add it eventually, but I think solutions. So it's being able to roll the same one again and again. Now, not necessarily the map you put into the biome, but have the modifiers stay or come back. I think that would be that would be something creative. I think you need to do something with these dead nodes. Something like perhaps you can exchange a completed map for a random map. Or currency. Maybe you could put them into a blender. I feel like it's a complete waste to not do anything with them once they're done. There should be something you can do with it. Otherwise, you just, keep going to the right or left, you just keep expanding it. I think it would be better to reduce the size, and then either you give the player more agency, which again, the player agency is the big part of this whole problem with Endgame in PoE 2. You either give people the ability to change the biome. I think that's another currency. So we have a currency to change biome, a currency to refresh the juice on a map, currency to just roll the map again, or you just more customization, more specification, more player agency. Alternately, I know with the new update they're going to add bosses and breaches and things to towers, and then maybe add in different ways to complete maps. But I think that's kind of what the whole point of the passive tree would be. I would think on the passive tree you should have the option to define what is map completion to you. Is it killing all the rares? Is it killing the boss? There should be a boss in every single map. That's just common sense. Sorry, common sense is an irrelevant term. Currency. Okay, back to currency. So since we don't have enough determinative crafting, again, player agency, perhaps we can get some sort of nice crafting currency, some new crafting currency from completing a map and then exchanging it for currency. I think that would be interesting. Okay, next. Okay, another one. So, apart from refreshing, turfing, refining, giving players more control of the end game to make them feel empowered and also feel as though their build can be more fine-tuned for the mechanics that they want to involve themselves with. Just add a whole bunch of stuff from PoE 1. That's another solution. There's already solutions to all of these problems. They've already done them. You can steal the idol system. I don't know. It has a mixed reception, but it is incredibly powerful. And gives you so much agency. So, I mean, options. I think options at the end of the day are the most important thing. So, giving the player options, not taking it away from them, and allow when you activate a tower it to hit everything. Perhaps you activate a tower, it reactivates all the maps, but you can still maybe traversal should be free. You shouldn't have to worry about going from line to line. You should be able to go anywhere within sight. Like you should be able to go to the burning monolith and stuff. I think free travel or a currency that allows you to free travel. So maybe skip a node. The connecting lines thing is really stupid because they're so faint. You can barely see them. And it's like, oh, how do I get to there? Oh, I can't go that way. It's not connected. Oh, it's not connected. Oh, I'm gonna go around this way. So you have things that are just defined. The whole end game is defined by these faint white lines that you can barely see unless you zoom in, and even then they're not clear enough. I think the way it's presented can be changed entirely. I feel like they definitely need to make the lines more distinct. If you agree or disagree, whatever. Or just change the presentation entirely. Just ditch it. Start fresh. Make it entirely you create the world. You create the map. And like so much of it is just irrelevant. So we have a grass biome, and we have a swamp biome, and we have a desert biome, and another grass, and water. The water is at least near water, but everything else here is next to mountains. Is there a mountain biome? Yeah, there's bloody tower locations. So we got mountain here. Those are mountain, and then... Oh my god, it's just... That's water. There's no water. That's forest. It's not even in the forest. That's forest. At least it's near a forest. Okay, more solutions. Alright, so endgame mechanics. You can just chuck in from PoE 1, obviously. Crafting table, obviously. But then do you need a... I mean, the crafting table is good. Because we have so many exalts, I feel like things are so much... they're so different, really. And we're missing a lot of sections in the currency. But, like, because we have so many exalts, you can get so many, you're just slamming and it's all just luck and you're just going blah, 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 and everything's just blah, 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 I'll just get as many as I want. Harvest we definitely need harvest. I'd love a currency. I know this is probably never going to happen, but to the level of uniques, I'd love to be able to raise it for reasons that, like with this, in this case, the decomposed boots, so it's a skill-based ability and it's level 11. So if I had a higher level boot, then there'd be a higher level skill and then I get more sockets and then I can do more things with it. I feel like that kind of restriction... what am I doing? Decompose. I don't like that I'd want to get another copy of my special unique item that changes my build. I'd want to get another one at a higher level. That would be better. I kind of think that's a bit annoying. Particularly when you gotta keep an eye out for the Iron Greaves to roll Chancellors on to maybe get it. But Okay. Anything else I can think of in these last few seconds? Solutions only. I feel like I've not succeeded in the challenge, but I'll try my best. The old Realm Gate. I think it's definitely the sunk cost fallacy, where they put in so much effort into making this that they think they've got to keep going. Same with the towers. They're going to make it that you have to complete the tower by killing all the rare mobs or the boss to be able to activate the tablet, the precursor tablet, so you can juice maybe half of your maps, maybe a third of your maps in that circle. And then they're on layouts that you don't like, or you just die instantly. Okay, next solution. The reason why refreshing the map and keeping the modifiers, keeping the mechanics on it has value is because you only have one life. So if your build is not great, or if you're new to Path of Exile, to Endgame Path of Exile, you get to the Endgame PoE 2 and then you're just not prepared because you don't know, you just feel like you're punished constantly. You go from rewarding, engaging campaign with the boss mechanics and you're rolling and you feel like you're, playing the game and it's intense and all that. You get to mapping, and to map you need to be a beast. You need to be screen clearing further away from you, so you need to kill everything before it can attack you, basically. And then that's amplified by having one life. So you go into a map and then you lose it, you lose your mechanic, and then it's just like, oh, shit. It's not fun. It doesn't pass the entry test, the basic beginner test. Now, later on, obviously, you got, the uber bosses and stuff. That's fine. Like, a lot of the people who have picked up PoE 2 for the first time may not get to them. I would think the majority wouldn't get to the bosses. And that's totally reasonable. But you want to at least give them a chance to go sink their teeth in. I don't understand why they've gone from 6 chances to 1 chance. It feels like they're trying to maintain the spirit of the campaign being challenging and the bosses being tough and you can die easy, depending on what build you're playing, of course. And then they've just gone, let's not give them 6 lives. But, we'll keep them 6 portals, though. So we won't change the visual. So we still have the same old visual of the 6 portals to make them believe that they've got 6 lives. So when they go in and they actually die for the first time, they go, oh, I didn't know. I thought I had 6 lives, because that's how it worked in the previous game. So it becomes this debate. It feels so harsh, Endgame. When your build is not very good, when you're trying something different, when you're making your own thing, you're not following a build guide. I think the six attempts is a great way to just reinforce that your build isn't good. So you go, oh, okay, so now I've died 6 times. All right, obviously I need to improve things. But just once, you can be like, oh, that's just unlucky. That's a freak occurrence. Oh, that one rare was just, had so many modifiers and I just had no chance. It's hard to, quantify that difference is so massive for people, getting through the end game, getting into the end game, trying to get into it. I think this is the other problem with the green and the visual indication that you completed maps is that it does make people think that there is a completion. It's not an infinite journey of fun whenever they want. There is an ending. You beat the uber bosses, you get your rare thing, you get your build, you're done. Because you load up your map and it's full of things you've done. You completed it. It's like, It's not intelligent game design. You want to give people that feeling when they come into a game. It's like if you boot up Final Fantasy 14 and the first thing you do as a new player is join a guild, go into the guild, and you see all the trophies, all the rare items, everything in the game's already done. So it's kind of like that. You come into this and you see it's all done. You're like, oh, I've done all this hard work. And then it's like, to set up for something. I'm doing all this hard work to get the towers, to get everything, to get done the bad maps, so I just have the good maps. I've done all this hard work. And then it's like, what does this mean now? It's... Yeah, I think it's better to mask what has, what has been passed. Better to mask some of the history a little to give that feeling of freshness. Because I can't remember, honestly, hardly any of these maps that I did. I cannot remember anything that happened to them, whether they're not interesting at all. That's the other problem. So when things are generated with random elements, somewhat random, maybe not entirely random, you lose your identity. But at the same time, if it's going to lose its identity, then give the player the agency. I think is that okay? Yeah, that's my whole point. If it doesn't have identity, why are you totally dogmatic about it? It's this one biome swamp. It's a swamp. Why does it have to be a swamp? It doesn't matter that it's a swamp. It's not relevant to any story, any lore. Let me choose what biome it is. It doesn't change anything on their side. It doesn't. They don't lose anything. The GGG didn't lose nothing if I'm allowed to choose what biome it is. If I'm allowed to change, if I'm allowed to get whatever mechanic, I want to choose all the mechanics. I don't want to have to roll the precursor tablet and then just get lucky. I want to choose everything. I want to be in control. And whether I can beat the map or not, that's another question entirely. But at the same time, it would be because the build is ready. I put hard work in. I've already put in the effort to get to Endgame. It's like, respecting time, respecting effort, but they want to... There's still challenge. That's the thing. There is challenge. You want to be encouraging people to put as many modifiers on their map. They're actual juicing the map and being like, oh, put all this and this. But then you die once and you lose it all. And you don't only lose the map you bloody rolled and all you finally tuned, you lose all the mechanics. I don't understand. You shouldn't lose the mechanics if you fail the map. Okay. Don't lose the mechanics, you fail the map. This is so hard to be solutions only, because it's just, it's mind boggling that it's created in such a way. Wow. Yeah. We also obviously need way more mechanics as well that they already exist. Just chuck them in. I'd like more progression. I'd like, builds not to all use the same uniques. But then again, that just because so many of the uniques are absolute garbage. 99% of them are garbage. I don't understand. I watched, the artistic guy doing the presentation about the design of the uniques and them all being special and how much effort was put in to make them look good and to look distinct. And then they talked about, the design of the items and all being, build defining or trying to be somewhat build defining. And then they come out and there are just so many trash ones. Boots without movement speed or no movement. It's just, I know, res and things, and just none of the basic core stats. It's just been like, whoever did the stats for the uniques is an idiot. Except like the highest, the pinnacle stuff you get from the Uber bosses. It's like, of course that's what you want, but So much of it is just the campaign leveling ones could be way more distinct. Like a trade-off. It gives you something really, really good, but there's a cost. And maybe something well into the end game can mitigate that cost and actually make a unique build that's interesting. But at the minute, they're just forgettable trash. Just selling to the merchant for the Orb Chance shard things. And then the towers being, you can have so many towers close together is so stupid. Because you just lose a whole bunch of maps you could have potentially juiced up. But that said, yeah, solutions. Scrap it. Yeah, I know they will eventually because they did a whole bunch of stuff with Path of Exile 1. They've gone through everything. They've learnt the lessons. This is the part that's so frustrating, is that they have learnt all these things. They have tried a whole bunch of different stuff. They have tried giving players agency, taking it away a little bit. They've gone through the cycle. They've learned. They've gone through years of development and understanding, and then being annoyed at their players, and then being pissed off by the, and then arguments back and forth, and Calandra League, and then Arch Nemesis, and Metamorphosis, and all sorts of... And then when the Heist came out, it was on console, and it crashed with consoles. It was horrific. You couldn't run it. And then it just... It boggles the mind. It reminds me of another franchise. It's not nearly as bad, granted. Call of Duty had a new team for every new COD. And then they had repeat ones. And then they never learned from each other. Never built and grew from each other. Repeated the same mistakes over and 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 over again. It's like, you don't want to become that. But I feel like it's really interesting where it might go. So we either keep going towards GGG are the smart people in the room, the players are stupid, and they know best, and what they know what the players need, but the players don't know what they need, sort of situation, where they think every single map on the entire thing should be a tower, because fuck you players, you're stupid. And it's like, no, that... Or, you got to get a special super precursor tablet that's ultra unique one that guarantees that every single map in the circle, or it doubles the size of the circle, every single map gets juiced. Ooh, juiced with the same mechanic that you don't want to play. Or the players get agency. The players get to choose what they want and they don't want. And then they choose the most meta thing, and then they accelerate too fast and get bored of the game and move on. Or they don't. Or they have fun. It's up to the player then. Sometimes people play a game and they move on and they play something else. Sometimes people play the same game that you think is trash. They play that game for years and years and years and have great fun. It's really hard to get a read sometimes on what is the best for everyone. But I can assure that what we have now isn't good enough. And they know that. It's a rushed end game, it's early access, etc., but at the same time, I feel like they're going to do double down syndrome. And yeah, I would take another solution. Just remove the precursor tablet thing. So the towers can be a tower. It can just be a different map. That's fine. Take away the circle of influence. Scrap that. Visually, it's just more visual noise and clutter. It's trash. Precursor tablet, you could just change that item entirely. You could just make it apply. It's got maybe 5 applications like a currency, or you have heaps of them and they have one mechanic on them, maybe 2, or like a blue one's got 1 mechanic, yellow one's got 2 mechanics. and then you can apply the mechanic on the map you want. Maybe that's an alternate. You directly apply the precursor tablet to the biome you want. If you can't change biomes, so then you can just go bam, 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 bam. Then you have a currency to refresh it. You can do it again. I think that would make more sense. But then they gate the precursor tablets and make them rarer or something stupid like that, and then. But I still think, yeah, determinism. You need to give players. ARPGs are power fantasies. In an ARPG, you go from the basic person who just hits a zombie on the head with the stick to slaying the gods. Would a god-slaying beast of a person who's killed tens of millions of demons be beholden to some magical tower on some stupid generated map about where they can go, what they can kill, and how they can do it, and what special mechanics are around? No. They would choose what they want to do, when they want to do it, and how they want to do it. It's a fantasy. That's what the game is. It's a freaking fantasy. And the developer's job is to enable the fantasy and to immerse the players in that world. Make them feel powerful. Make them have fun. Or allow them to have fun. Give them as many options as possible to have fun. Options, options, options. The other thing that the placement of these nodes, I think, is an absolute, because it's generated. I think you should be able to move them. A currency to move them, and when you move them, it changes the biome. How's that? That is another one. Here's another solution. Moving it so you could move like all of them within the range of stupid tower if you want to keep the towers, and you could have 100 of them all on a mountain, and they could all be mountain. Stacking. You could have them stack on top of each other. So you do one map after the other, and you got like layers within the map. You could like stack 5 of them, and you could go down the layers, like similar to Sanctum with the floors, or Trials of Sekima with the floors. You could have like layers of maps, and then with each layer of map, you get an extra portal chance. So if you die, you get another chance or something. Which honestly, I'd prefer. Then you could stack 10 maps, and you get 10 chances, 10 lives. I think that would be better, because I know if I've got a good build, I can get through a couple of those without dying, and I'd be able to get through all of them. I honestly think that would be a much better system, even though it's crazy. It's like, it would encourage people to play a lot too, because you'd be like, oh, I'll put this one on this one, on this one, and this one, and you get the mechanics stack as well. So you get all the mechanics on the maps you want. I think that would be really cool. There's really interesting visual things you could do. Like you could do, you beat this mechanic and you're on this map, and then it spreads to one next to it. Like you could have that part of your Atlas passive tree, is that you beat a mechanic on a map and it spreads to nearby maps. And it could be refreshing the map as well. So you have incentive to save your good mechanics and then do them at the end, and then it refreshes all your old maps. They come back and they've all got the mechanics on them. You can't leave the dead green nodes. It drives me mad. So there's so much more interaction you could do. I think about it like a bloody board game. You could do the bloody D20 dice to roll whatever mechanics are on a map, or what kind of biome it is. You could roll the biomes with a currency. It randomly rolls a biome. You don't have to actually, even that's better. It's not necessarily giving the player complete control, but giving them a chance to, oh, I don't like desert. Let's re-roll that. Oh, we get swamp. I don't like that. Oh, we get the Val Temple. Oh, we get some of those other terrible enclosed maps. Stuff them. Throw them away. There's so much potential to change things and be interesting. Be like Risk. You could have like armies and the territorial things. You could have, oh my goodness, you could do like multiplayer with friends, and they've got like the maps they beat, and you've got the maps you beat, and then it's a race who beats the most maps in a certain period of time. That could be the race. The leader thing is you have a designated map, and people have to see if they can clear that whole section. So you could have like a league event could be a cutout section of this map, just this screen here, and everyone has the same screen with the same maps, and they're all set up, and they all have mechanics on them. They all have. You don't even have to put a map into it. It's already set up, and that's the league. Is you have to beat all the ones they've set up, and they've got like insane modifiers and insane bosses at the end, and everyone has to do the same one, and it's the race to see who beats it all first. You can do so much interesting things if you want to engage in it in that way, rather than just scrap it and start fresh. When you look at it like that, though, like a board game, I think it's so much more possibility than just going in. It's just, I really, 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 really don't like One Life. The One Life thing, I think, is so stupid. I hate it. I don't understand why you want to punish people who aren't as good at the game. It doesn't seem logical in my mind. New player gets to endgame, dies, loses the map. Oh. Is that a good experience? Dies 6 times? Yeah, okay, they get it then. They get it. It takes people a bit more than just once to get it. So, and then of course you could add other things to the other nodes. You could add, instead of a tower or a like a biome map area, you could add other things like a city, like a unique merchant, or collection of merchants, limited time merchants. You could add other mechanics. I can see this as a building block. You could add so much. You could add the heist thing. You could do the actual place you go to rob. You could have, the vault, the bank, like a whole city, and you do your heist in the setup there, and then you go over to it, this big city thing, and then you go, oh, that's where we do the heist. And it's so stupid how many towers there are just next to each other. That's so stupid. Yeah, changing the lines. Like, you could have a goddamn currency where you can choose the line. You can have, like, these two don't connect, even though that makes no sense. So you could have them connect. I don't know, I think like a flying machine, you can fly over and just drop anywhere, and then you can start fresh in a whole new zone thing, and then spread your influence. You could be like Influence, like gang territory, war territory. You could do so much stuff. I know, I'm just like spitballing crazy ideas, but that's what we need, there's so much going on, but I feel so just not fun. PoE 2 endgame, when your build is not optimum, when you can get the job done, but you may make a mistake that gets you killed, and you're like, damn it, if only I had another go. I only needed one more life and I would have got through it. It would have been fine. And it's like, nah, you're done. It's so harsh. All right, I rabbited on this beautiful peacock build. Amazing. Amazing. Put up a map. Oh, it's not connected. I don't want to. Alright. Spin Frosty 5 out of 10. Solutions only challenge. Failed. Can you do better? Tell me your solutions to PoE 2 endgame in the comments. And make your own videos too. That's the only way they learn. Doesn't matter if you only get one view. One view is a lot of views. Damn it. What matters is we voice our opinions and offer solutions. Solutions. rather than just criticism, solutions. Yes, I called it stupid, but there's potential. You know, how do we see a better world? We complain about the current one and then we offer solutions. Not just complaining, solutions. So, with that, I bid you adieu. Have a wonderful day. It's been Frosty510. Like and subscribe. Bye-bye.